What's up? It's DeeRob. You're now tuning in to the interview of Cuddie. What's up? My name's DeeRob, DeeRob, and welcome to the first interview of Mr. Cuddie. Please introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from, everything like that, bro.
Yeah, my name is Cuddie, Cuddie. I'm from here, Huntsville, Alabama, all my life. You know what I'm saying? I've been traveling a little bit, but this is my base of operations, Huntsville, Alabama.
Amen. What has gotten you into music and the craft of making music?
Man, I started making music not professionally or nothing like that when I was a kid, like in 3rd grade maybe. Like
Gotcha.
All my friends around me that was making music and stuff like that, you know, writing it down. So I was like, I can do that. Let me try it. So I started doing it. I've been rapping since 3rd grade, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I've had inspirations like people like Tupac, you know, in the entertainment industry, Michael Jackson and stuff like that. You know, Yellow Wolf, that's my favorite rapper, you know. So I look up to people like that and just see what they got and it's like trying to model after that because maybe I can get there one day.
When have you noticed like a pivotal moment in your career?
Shit, basically when I met you.
Gotcha.
Because, you know, you got a lot of connections and stuff and I started recording with you and then you put me on to the performance thing. You know, I've done that twice and it's helped me gain some followers and stuff like that. And
where was that your first performance?
Yeah,
like,
the
ever?
first one. Yeah,
oh really?
Yeah,
oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I would have noticed that because even just your energy on stage, like it felt like you have been doing this a while.
Yeah, I'm built for this shit, man.
Bro, so how long have you been recording music professionally, whether it's in a studio or just doing it yourself?
Probably since like probably 2020, 2021.
Gotcha.
I had met one of my other producers out there in Tuscaloosa. I was living out there for about 3 years. I met him because he made EDM music and stuff like that. So I was like, I can rap. Let's go and get in the studio. Yeah. And he started fucking with me like that. You know what I'm saying? Understood.
Now, you did say Yellow Wolf is one of your favorite artists. What are some other influences and other entertainers other than the ones that you just listed?
So when I was in high school, Kodak came out when I was about 17, 18 years old. And he matched with my vibes in high school, you know what I'm saying? He knew what to say and the stuff I was going through. Drake, obviously, you know, Drake's a big one. And, you know, he started popping a long time ago and he says a lot of stuff that I feel like I can say. Yeah. So I feel like, you know, sometimes I'm in his brain, he's in my brain, so I feel connected with him like that.
No, I feel you on that. Part of OVO myself.
So
what have you say was the most challenging part in starting music, or even what has been the toughest point?
I feel like for me, because, you know, I'm an artist, I write music and I perform the music, but, you know, I don't make the beats or nothing like that. So it's always hard trying to find a new, fresh beat. You know, you got your phone full of beats and stuff, you heard them, you keep hearing them, and, you know, you need fresh beats. And, everybody don't make beats. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, you record and stuff like that, but you don't really be making them beats. Right. So, you know, it's scarce to find somebody like to make beats. All my beat makers are living out of town, you know what I mean? So I gotta get them shipped in, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, get them sent to me. So it's hard to just like find somebody locally that has beats that's in my style. Right. You know what I mean? So break down your creative process. Well, see, I write all day long, but if you really want me to get serious writing and stuff, I get in my, you know, little cubby hole or whatever, and I'll smoke me something. You know, you got to get in that vibe, and it just helps me just flow. And when I smoke, you know, it flows. You know what I'm saying? I understand. How has your artistic journey helped you grow as a person? It made me realize, like, you know, you're not always going to have what everybody else has, and you got to work towards your success. Right. It made me realize you actually got to work for what you want. Understood. I am a very big believer in, like, you know, obviously you're going to have to put into work to see the results. Exactly. and to even gain success. Exactly. Now, for the folks at home, he's done an interview before, but it's never been a sit-down interview like this. In one of the interviews, you said how Rich Homie Quan was a big factor as well. Rest in peace to you know, one of the fallen legends that we had. Expound on that for me. So Rich Homie Quan is actually the first concert I've ever been to. You know, I've always liked Rich Homie Quan growing up because, you know, ever since Type of Way came out,
Yeah.
everybody was on that. And I just stayed on them, you know, Double R, Never Stop Going In. So when I got to college, he actually did a tour to the college I was at. So, you know, he did his little performance thing and stuff like that. And after he got done, like everybody got quiet for some reason. I screamed out, "Party at my house." He said, "Who said that?" I said, "Me." He said, "Come here." So he brought me up on stage and shit like that. So
Yeah.
it made me feel, you know, a little closer to him, connected to him and shit like that. So, I mean, that was a really, you know, good time of my life right there.
Now, how did it change your perspective of now you're on stage and seeing a crowd of people?
Dude,
Did
when
that?
I saw that, bro, I was like, damn, I want this for myself.
Yeah,
You know,
I was
everybody
just
looking
about
at
to ask, like, did that like enhance your dream more of like, oh, this is very
you.
achievable?
It did, yeah, man. Because, you know, you can get up on stage anywhere, but when somebody wants you to get on stage and you got a crowd just looking at you like you're somebody, it ain't no better feeling than that.
Right, understood. So how do you stay motivated and how do you stay like, let's say, refreshed on like, you know, trying to make music?
For me, it's easy because I'm always, you know, on the move, doing something, going somewhere, meeting somebody, you know what I'm saying? So I've always got experience in my head, just rolling and rolling around. And the type of person I am, I'm not a big talker.
Yeah.
So, like, I express myself through writing. And I might as well just make it rhyme, you know what I mean? So it's just really easy for me to sit down and write a song. That's just how I vent, you know what I mean?
Got you, understood. What was your childhood like, and how did that give you the passion for music?
I would say, man, my childhood was, you know, as a kid, you don't really know that you're poor or like you're going through struggles or something like that. But looking back, I see it. But as a kid, you know, I feel like it was straight. But, you know, you see all the stuff. Like my dad was in prison my whole life. He's still there. Me and my 4 brothers, single mom and stuff like that. So I've had enough trauma to talk about stuff like that, you know. But for the most part, man, we was kids, so we didn't really know, you know, we was like that. So we was just living our lives, you know what I mean? So I talk about stuff that I've been through and stuff like that. And, you know, being in that type of upbringing, you have a lot to talk about. You know what I mean? You got a lot of experience of different things of how to get it out the mud, how to live with one parent, you know, being with your grandparents all the time, you know what I mean? So, I mean, it's a lot of stuff like that I talk about, and it's just easy to bring it up because I lived it, you know what I mean?
Understood. Were there any specific moments growing up that made you realize that you had a creative talent?
To be honest, no, not when I was a kid, but like as I got older and looking back in my life, yeah, because you know, I've always been the type just to like bullshit somebody. I can say a paragraph, you know, off topic of something. Like somebody asked me to like lie to you, I'm gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? Because I can figure out something to say like that. So maybe I can, you know, write this shit down and it'll sound fire. You know what I mean?
Now, how do you think your environment influenced your style?
It's a grunge style and like a heartbreak style because my environment was very grunge and very heartbreak. It's a lot of heartbreak in my life and a lot of, you know, I had to get it out the mud situations. So that's really what I talk about, grunge and heartbreak.
Were there any challenges that you faced in your upbringing that shaped your creativity?
Well, obviously my dad not being there was a big one. I always felt like he was the greatest, you know, like teacher of not to do what he did. So it just makes me feel like it maybe if I can, you know, share my story and get it to pop off, somebody listen to it and hear me and see and hear what I've been through and stuff like that, you know, they can relate to what I've been through.
Yeah. See, that's one of the reasons why I got into music as well. Is because it's like I realized that there are other people in the world that has gone what I went through as well. Exactly. And it's like I can be the voice of reason of, hey, let's continue this, even though things are bad right now, but in the long run, you'll understand that you were put through this for a specific reason.
For sure. Yeah.
So how did your hometown and culture background influence your artistry?
I wouldn't say it really did influence my artistry because where I come from, Harvest, Alabama, it ain't nothing there.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I mean?
mainly
all,
country.
Yeah, it's all country. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know everybody, so it ain't really influenced my artistry. And, you know, Huntsville ain't really, and the surrounding cities ain't really either. It's just by the things that I watch, you know, other rappers on TV. And, you know, growing up, MTV music videos was always playing before I caught the bus. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the stuff that I've entertained myself with and not the stuff around me. Because if I let the stuff around me influence me, I probably, you know, never would have thought of music.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I don't have a musical family.
Right.
I don't have musical friends. I've met people like you that's musical, but my friends ain't really musical.
Right.
So I let the stuff that I, you know, go into my brain, influence my artistry.
Understood. Now, if you was to speak to your younger self, what would advice you would give them, and what would you tell them as in, you know, don't worry?
Man, I tell that boy just to keep your head down and just grind, dog, because it's a hard word out here, but you can make it easier for yourself if you just grind now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Grind now and you can relax later.
Understood. Where do you see yourself and or your work in the next 5 to 10 years?
In the next 5 years, man, I want to see myself through the roof. You know what I mean? Because I'm 25. It takes people, you know, till they 30. Lil Durk 30. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, I ain't really worried about the time frame, but I do see myself in 5 years through the roof. You know what I mean? I got to. You know what I mean?
Now, what are some more long-term goals that you have?
Long-term goal is to make sure my family's straight. You know, I want a compound.
Yeah.
You know, that is like you got your house right here, and then you got your mama house over there.
Yeah.
You got your brother house over there.
Yeah.
Your auntie or something. I want to be able to make sure my family's straight. You know, my immediate family and sometimes, you know, the outside of the immediate family.
Yeah.
Just trying to make sure I can take care of my folks.
Understood. Because that's one of my goals as well, as in like generational wealth.
Exactly. Nepotism.
Similar to a compound, like probably a little bit less, but I just want to make sure that I know that everybody don't have to worry
Exactly.
anymore. You know, like
exactly.
I feel like that is the true goal of like, I said this before, our parents could only do with what they could.
Exactly.
So now it's time to get how we can take it further from what they've taught us or what we have seen them go through.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to turn that new money into old money.
Hey, facts all that. How do you see evolution in your artwork?
I see it by the way that I write and the way I choose my beats from now on. I used to, just have a simple beat and write on that own, but I can see that I'm starting to pay more attention to what I like and what sounds good with me. So it's helping me pick the right beats for my sound and pick the right lyrics for my sound and stuff like that. And I'm evolving in that way.
Are there any specific milestones or achievements that have that you hope to reach in your career and that you have already reached?
I've reached, performing. I've performed twice. I've never done that before. I've always wanted to do it, and I've done it, and I got a taste for it. I want to do it again.
Right.
The milestone for performing is, selling out arenas, football fields, and stuff like that. That's a big milestone for me. I want to be able to, like Drake said, somebody like when I speak.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, get like that. Somebody like when I speak.
Understood. Well, what are some other specific milestones that you would love to reach?
I want to be able to, like I said, take care of my family. That's a milestone. I want to be able to just, not worry. And, material things and shit. I want materials.
Yeah.
You know what I want a nice hat car. I want them chains.
Yeah.
I want them earrings. You know what I mean? Them glasses, them shoes, all that shit. I just want to, be clean, be fresh, take care of my family. I don't want to have no worries. That's the biggest milestone. I don't want to worry about nothing. Now,
what impact do you hope that you have on others?
I want to make them know that they're not alone in the situations they go through by listening to me. They can hear me and see me, take off from what I've been through and make them feel like that they can do that too. Because anybody can, get somewhere from someplace. It's about how you do it. So I want to, show them how I'm doing it and how it's going to go and how I'm going to be and maybe they can be like that.
Right. How do you plan to balance personal growth with professional success in the years to come?
You gotta keep your personal growth and the professional growth separate, but kind of the same, because you can't really bring all that professional stuff into your personal life because you're just gonna be stressed out from everything. So
Right.
you gotta find a way to separate yourself from all the craziness in the business. And the way I separate myself is, I block out from the world. Maybe I'll go fishing or something to take my mind off stuff. But I separate the industry business from my personal life. I don't really be talking about myself in that way in the job I do, like my
Right.
9 to 5 or whatever. I try to keep it just separated so it don't clash, because I feel like if it clashes, then it's just too much stress, too much going on, whatever. So it's always good to have a life away from the life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, understood. It's like a perfect imbalance.
Exactly.
Because I'm similar. Like the type of work that I do, my 9 to 5, it really contradicts everything that I do in the music world.
I'm a leader of young men.
Right.
I'm a football coach.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm in a school system. So I don't really want them to, it's not really such a bad thing, but at the same time, these are adolescent kids
Right.
that they're easily manipulated and easily shaped.
Right.
So if they see me, or hear me saying I'm smoking weed, I'm not smoking weed at school. I'm
Yeah.
not smoking weed playing football.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a grown man. I'm doing my thing. But I don't want them to be so easily influenced where they feel like they got to do that.
So what are some genres that you're wanting to dive into? Like what have you touched on?
I've touched on, the new wave in rap is that little rock star shit. So man, I touched on that a little bit. I got a song out that you helped me record. It's not out, but I need to re-record it, but it sounds good to me. That rock star vibe.
Yeah.
That's the type of stuff I've been leaning toward, and in the samples of the old school music and stuff like that. You know how Big X the Plug does. Like it'd be sample.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't listen.
Yeah, you fine.
Like that.
The people will know.
Yeah.
How he did that 2 a.m. Contagious. He sampled that.
Gotcha.
I like the beats like that, so I'm leaning more towards that too. So I think that's pretty fine.
If you could design your dream life, whether as an artist or as a person, how would you describe that?
My dream life, I would rather be an artist. That's the type of person I am right now. So I'd like to be that later in life, and everything that comes with a successful artist.
Right.
The money, the fame, cars, clothes. I want it all.
So describe both of them. Like describe what you feel like your perfect life as an artist and your perfect life as just a regular man.
So the perfect life as a regular man, you can take care of yourself and you can take care of your family, and you can also, take care of anything else that you need to be able to do. You're
Understood.
sustainable. As a man, you need to be sustainable and feel useful. And that's the perfect life for me. As the perfect life as an artist, I want, people to love me, love my music, want to hear me, want to see me all the time, book me for shows and stuff like that. Just feel appreciated as an artist.
So what are some ways that you can stay true to yourself?
Don't switch up on my day ones. The people that's always been supporting me and stuff like that. I'm probably gonna switch up because I wouldn't want anybody to be around me when I'm like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Keep my guys around me, but I wouldn't want to be reaching out to people like I do now. You know what I mean? I don't want everybody just to be in my business.
Right.
So
Understand.
I probably would switch up a little bit, but I would still, be the same guy. But, I wouldn't be as open to everybody and everything as I am now.
Yeah, less accessible.
Exactly.
Can you share some details about a recent project that you have done? Or going to do?
Probably this music video we're gonna do, man, because I've been sitting on this song for so long, and I've been trying to find somebody just to fill the empty verse in it.
Right.
And you did it, and I'm really excited about it because it's one of my best songs. So I'm really excited to see how the music video would turn out with it, because it's a very fire song.
Right.
So
No, I
it's
do
very,
agree.
very, very intriguing, and I can't wait for y'all to hear it.
What is there any particular EP or album that you have in the works, or is it strictly singles for?
It's singles for right now. I dropped my first album 2 years ago, and it's just been strictly singles since then because I just want to push music out. And I feel like if you drop an album, people not finna sit there and run through the whole album if you're not already, big, you know what I mean? So singles is what is gonna help you pop.
How do you think your sound will incorporate into your brand building?
So first of all, I feel like I don't have a business, but my brand is, leveling up. I call me and my other guys Level Up Crew, LUC. So in my music, I'm talking about what I've been through and what I'm like now, and that's leveling up. I want people to realize they can level up. You know what I mean? Level Up Crew, LUC.
I'll fuck with that. What are some dream collaborations or dream producers that you would love to work with?
I would like to work with Drake, like I said, because, I feel like I can match his flow and his vibe with that. I want to work with Wiz Khalifa. I'm a big marijuana guy, so I would love to do something with him. Yellow Wolf, because he's from Alabama.
Sean Gaston.
I like his sound, and that's kind of like a sound that I would want to work towards, So, I mean, those are 3 guys I would like to work with.
Understood. If you had unlimited resources and unlimited access, what would you say your perfect album/video would be?
Wow. Perfect album would probably be at least 15 to 20 songs. They all bangers, but you got like 4 stars in that thing, and videos that match it well, a video that kind of be like a movie, you know what I mean? When I watch a music video, I want to be right there with them. So I want somebody to feel like that when they watch my music video. That's a perfect music video, you know what I mean?
Now, is there any like specific details that you would like as in like location, and the whole vision of it?
See, that's more of like a, on the go type thing.
Understood.
You can't always just have something planned out and it actually work out. So when I want to make a music video, I got to put the ideas in my head and, see what works, where it works, when it works, you know what I mean? So that's really something you got to do. Like, it's just a planning type thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, what is one of your favorite songs or verses that you've ever created?
It'll be a song that's on a collaboration with me and Major. It's called Sins of a Saint. My whole little second verse in there. It's the second verse in the song. Man, it's tough. It's just so tough. Like, man, it's very tough.
Expound on that. Like, what makes it tough? And as you're saying, tough as in difficult, or tough as in like it's very good?
Man, tough as in very good. It's like that because my flow on there is just so hard and it gets to the point. And most of my songs are like it's you can vibe out to them,
right? But
you can't rock out to them. And this right here you can rock out to.
Yeah. What do you feel like would be the best way to expand the local scene here in Huntsville?
Something like you do, the what's that called? Rhythm and Shine?
Rhyme and Shine.
Rhyme and Shine?
Yes,
yeah, man. That right there, you bring hella artists from the community and come in and we all, fellowship, sing our songs or whatever. And anybody that wants to come, they can come. And I feel like that's a great way to expose yourself around the community, go to open mics, stand-ups and stuff like that. Because it's not necessarily just you making jokes or nothing like that. Like an open mic is, you come in there and do your material.
Right.
So I feel like that's a great way to expand your sound and your persona around the community.
How would you like to help with that? Like, how would you envision yourself helping expand the community? Man,
just by showing myself and doing what I do best. Somebody, I find a show or something and I'll go do it. Right. And that's what's gonna help me and that's what's gonna help the community see me. You gotta be seen, you gotta be heard. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's gonna help me locally.
Now, what do you think would be the perfect show for you? Other than we already touched on you selling out arenas, but how do you envision it as in would you bring people out? Would it strictly be yourself? Minimum fans, what do you think you would like to reach?
The perfect show for me would be, like I said, sold out arena. I'm bringing my partners on the stage, people that's helped me level up, I want to see my damn mom right there looking at me in the crowd or backstage or something like that. It'll just make me feel like I made it, you know what I mean? that's what I like. That's what I want.
Now, what would you say, like, attendance-wise? Like, minimum?
Minimum, you always got to start out with something like 3 people in the crowd.
Right.
But, I would like at least, 20,000 minimum. That's a football stadium.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's like Bryant-Denny Stadium. That's what, 200,000 people?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be 5.
Yeah.
20,000 is a lot of people still.
Right.
So minimum 20,000 people.
Give me a story of one of your songs that you feel like has a very good impact or a very good message behind it.
Probably Love is Toxic Part 2. That shit right there is just so real and raw. Mm-hmm. It's like whenever I was feeling the emotion from writing that song, man, it was just everything was flowing through me. Like my brain signals, my heart signals, my body signals, everything was just going through my hand, man. Right. Just writing it down, dog.
Can you explain the type of feeling that you felt?
It was heartbreak. It was betrayal. It was a bunch of whys, why me's, why this, why that, you know, just asking why.
Right.
Know?
So what advice would you give to up and coming artists or a artist that is looking to even start into music?
I would say go ahead and do it. Forget about what people think about you, because somebody's always gonna have an opinion. Opinions are like assholes. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got them, and they think it don't stink. So you just gotta tell these young guys, just keep going, man.
Right.
Like you will perfect your sound if you keep going. You keep writing every day. You keep recording every day. You will find that sound that fits you, and you will master it, and you'll be good with it. Just keep going. Now
we touched on like the genres that you wanting to get into, but how do you think the perfect sound is for you?
It's a vibe, man. You see, I'm a really vibey person. My voice is soft, so I want to be, I want to touch the people's ears in a way that they just feel
comfort.
Yeah, comfort. You know what I'm saying? Feel like they can get over anything because I did. So I'm a soft-spoken guy, so I want people to feel, like you said, comfortable with my music.
Now, one thing I will notice is like, we'll get into this in another segment, but the 2 shows that you did perform at, your outfits was crazy.
Yeah.
So please expand on like, what is your thought process on choosing an outfit, and what does fashion mean to you?
Fashion is everything, because sometimes it's the first time somebody's gonna see you.
Right.
So first impression is everything. You got to put that shit on. You got to. I love fashion. I get my fashion from the shit that I watched, everything I see. I don't get my fashion from people around me. I got my own sense of style. I'll fuck around, put a flannel on quick. You know what I mean? That's me. And it'd be hard. So I usually just throw something on, and it's fine, because I got 5 clothes. So just throw something on, and I know what looks good. I like to match. My shoes matching my shirt. You got to. You know what I'm saying?
So what do you think your favorite colors are, as in like that you love to choose from, and same thing with fabrics?
Bold colors for sure. I wear a lot of black, blue, red, green. I can make anything look good for real. I like the graphic tees, stacked jeans, the Air Forces like Nikes, Jordans. I got a couple of Timbs I wear, but I really just put the tennis shoes on, and you in the game then.
Yeah. Is there any type of dream collaboration, as in like fashion wise, that you would love to do?
Anybody who trying to fuck with me, you know what I mean?
Right.
You Gucci, you Prada, you Chanel,
right.
Come fuck with me, you know what I'm saying? Cause I'm gonna put that shit on. You give it to me, I'm gonna put it on, and I'm gonna look good in it. So fuck with me. All the local people who's got businesses, fuck with me.
Right.
I'll put it on in the music video. Like I said, when I perform, I had a flannel on that's from East 4L, and that's my homie from college. That's my homie. That's his brand. So I mean, he makes a lot of good clothes. So I'm gonna rock with it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put it on.
Cuddie. What'd he say? Rockstar lifestyle. I just can't control it. I just need some new ice now. Take